right, everybody. This is Dr. John Davila, and obviously, if you're watching this, you know all about custom power solutions. Today, I wanted to bring someone on that I think has something. There's a win in this for everybody, and I think the win here for me personally, because I'm going to do this because I'm going to win here, is understanding more about data. And I love data. I am a data, we'll call it a hoarder. I love hoarding the data that I get. And the data that you can get the same data that I have or I've known, you can get it from your own system. And there's one way to pull it out. And the easiest way to pull it out is from somebody I have right here, Naota Hashimoto. I love this guy. Why don't you tell me what it is that you do around your program? Because I don't think a lot of people know, and I really think they should.
Well, I think the main thing we do is we make data actionable. Like a lot of people didn't even know what to do with hey, you use this word data, you sound like a scientist or something like that. And it just, I think people get kind of caught up in their practice and things are happening so quickly. And the main thing we do is we allow, say, a busy practice or not even a busy practice to know where to focus. Like your EHR has all the data in there. You could run reports, you could run queries, you could do all these things. You have texting plugins and or maybe you look at stats from there, but you don't know what to do with it. And the main thing we do is we take that static data and we make it actionable. Now, some of that action is through automation. Some of it is like just giving you here's a workflow. Like with a workflow, you see the people, you could text them, email them, schedule them, set a note, and that all syncs with the EHR. And then now that AI is getting better and better, like we've been building out AI employees, and maybe by the time people listen to this, we're going to be starting to release that because, the future, I think, of the profession, like we're going to have more and more docs that are going to be like what I call as a doc in the box. Like we're building out an AI employee that's going to answer the phone, answer questions, schedule
Right.
appointments, handle objections, chasing down an Instagram lead, a TikTok lead, someone that fills out a form on your website. And you're going to have offices where you're going to have maybe doc and CAs, and those CAs will, you can never like AI is awesome, but it's if a patient's loved one is going through cancer treatments, like they're not going to have that empathy to send them that get well soon card or check in to see how they're doing. So like AI is getting better and better, but it's if you're not using this kind of like technology and trying to practice like it was in 1988 or 1995, it just insurance companies like we talked about like earlier, like on another call, like they're using AI and stuff like that. And you have to use this tech. Otherwise, like the cost of rent goes up, cost of utilities goes up, cost of student loans goes up, insurance reimbursements keep going down. So you have to get a little bit more efficient or a lot more efficient with the money
Way
you
more.
have.
Yeah, way more. So you say actionable, and I love that word. One of the biggest problems that our clients have that I see that leads to a profile where an audit would be an issue, right? Is where patients fall through cracks in their care plans and stuff, things like that. So within your system, TrackStat, how do you help people find, how do you help the doctors find those people and take that data and make it an actionable process on getting those patients back on track?
Let's just take an example of someone missing an appointment. Like that happens in every office. Hey, and you get a stat, like a show rate. And yes, that's great. It's a number, but what do you do with it? So, like actionable things. So, like you could have a confirmation. Did they confirm? If someone hasn't confirmed for that appointment coming in tomorrow, maybe you give them an extra phone call or something like that. Or maybe you double book in that slot because it's a new patient and they haven't really engaged with you. Then let's say they miss, right? You're going to call them. We'll do an auto text. If they still haven't scheduled the next day, we'll do an auto text. But they don't always respond. It's easy if you get a hold of them. It's easy if they respond to the text. But if they didn't respond for whatever reason, let's just say their car broke and they're in a crummy mood, they don't feel like responding to their chiropractor about their missed appointment because they're like ticked off about paying for the tow truck and the bill and stuff like that. So then we give you a list of the non-responders, which you can get from your EHR. But then from that list, you could call them, you could text them, you could email them, you could schedule them, you could set a follow up all in one spot. We also have a mobile app where you could do some similar things, but not quite as robust as like a web-based application. And that's just like a very simple example of a canceled and missed appointment workflow.
Right.
And
So
then like, yeah, like with reactivations, right? Similar things.
big part.
Right. You could do auto text to follow up with people. And then we give you your recall list, but like we score the patients. We look at their past scheduling history, past payment history. And then based on that, we'll actually score the patients. Let's say you have 300 people, you're going to put your better ones on the top. But like to even avoid that in the first place, like I'll tell people look at patient drop off analysis so you can see like what specific visit numbers people are dropping out at. And, like we talked about this on another call by like looking at aggregate data. And like I remember I looked at like, I don't know, like maybe 1,000 chiropractors and I just like looked at it as a whole. And for ones that pre-schedule the treatment plan, they will see they'll lose half of their patients between like visits 8 and like maybe up to 20, right? Now, if you schedule by the visit, they'll lose half of their patients between visits 3 and 6,
Right.
which, like my original consultant taught me that, my mentors taught me that. I just did it. They said, and it is crazy. So like for people that schedule by the visit, it just like, and now there's people like I know people that teach seminars and they're this technique master and they have great patient retention, but like they're outliers, right? The majority of practices, when you schedule by the visit, you're losing half of your customers. Imagine like Netflix losing half of their customers after like 3 months. They'd be losing their shit, right? They'd be flipping out over that.
Really?
And like, Netflix has like crazy retention along with Amazon, along with these other things. So like if and then I read a study because what was it? I think I can't remember what it was, but essentially like the person could get out. It wasn't Marshall or whatever study, but it had to do with like electric shock. I think it was like Israel study in like Tel Aviv. And like people were told they could finish the experiment early and it was like just a little bit of an electric shock and but the majority of them still finished it, continued shocking themselves. And the premise of that study was people will follow through on something even if it's bad for them because like they just follow through on it. Now obviously like when we put people on a treatment plan, whether it's like 5 visits, 6 visits that you're scheduling them out for, it's like just schedule them out for more than one visit. So
Right.
like that part is huge. So like we'll have like a thing where you could do like a pre-shift huddle on our platform. So you can see all the people coming in who's been out for a while that's due for a re-exam, who owes money, who's not pre-scheduled. And like it gives you a lot of other things to do for like a huddle. So it's like kind of our huddle prep thing.
Cool. The so now that you have, because I'm gonna make an assumption here, and you tell me I'm correct. Because you have actionable steps to take, because the data coming to you that you're pulling out of the system, it allows you to go ahead and prioritize the people you want to get, people you don't want to get back. We'll put that down as a possible, right? That means that this your software is helping your information that you're pulling out of someone's EHR system, their data allows you to go ahead and basically save CA's time,
Yeah, ton of
able
time.
to be able to not just be more profitable, but also be able to handle the things you're talking about in the huddle, right?
If you do a huddle, which a lot of people, I was like taught to do that, but you could help and serve more people in a shorter period of time, just be a little bit more efficient. So yeah, like that's like a big thing we do is we'll help a front desk or a CA be more efficient in those like little 2 to 3 minute breaks. Because like those kind of roles, they're more of a reactionary role. Like imagine, like you're putting together some kind of a program and you're getting interrupted every like 2 to 7 minutes. You can never get anything done. So like they have to wait for air quotes downtime to work on these things. So the main thing TrackStat does is that we allow them to be productive in those 2 to 5 minute gaps between patients calling, checking in, checking out, or like I was worse at this. Like, hey, he is like, Dallas doesn't look like she's doing anything. So I'm gonna walk over there and I'm gonna just hand her some work. Right. And it's
Right.
just like she was getting ready to do something, but like I was just running around the office. It's like, oh, I'm gonna hand them this thing. So eventually I got better at that. But like, like I was the worst person at that.
So let me ask you this. So now that you have the system TrackStat running around doing this stuff for you, allowing the CAs to actually work with patients in the office, uh, where does your text program, where is it a differentiator? How is it different from other ones that are out there?
I'd say the main difference is that you're getting all of this stuff with the texting, right? For the same price. And actually, like with some of our competitors, we're like 30% less. We also do a free trial. I guess I sell the way I like buying, and I'm like the anti-sales salesperson. So it's like I don't have people do things that I'm willing to do. Like I remember years ago, like I was like hiring this when we started doing like software demos and stuff like that. And someone referred me a guy and he gave me like this offer. It was like 5 grand a month to coach you, but it's 2,500 a month. And that offer is only good for 24 hours. It's like, it just gave me such a bad taste in my mouth that it's like, yeah, I don't want to spend time with this guy. And it's just like, if there's a reason, right? I'm only working with 10 people because like we do this highly intent. I have one person that just dropped. As soon as they fill that 10th slot, that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
But like this, like, oh, I'm gonna give you half off because all of a sudden my time is not worth it's not worth as much if you do it within 24 hours, but it's worth more if you take more than 24 hours. So it's just so for us, like we just do a free trial, like I've been on the other end where I've been sold a bunch of bullshit. You get in there and you've signed this contract, and it's like, this thing sucks. So, like, I'm not saying everything sucks, but it's just like, try it out. If you think it's a turd, drop it. It's a free trial. You just really wasted like maybe a couple hours of your life fiddling around with it, maybe even 30 minutes. But we bet on that. Hey, everyone takes a look at it, likes it, and then some of the people feel a little sick, a little nauseous when they start looking at all that data and all that money that they've been losing. And then some of the people get angry, but some of the people are really excited about all that opportunity.
Oh
So,
yeah. Yeah, I had a client once who we were going through a cost analysis with him and then trying to figure out like how to be able to charge for his care plans. And he said where I was with him, he said, go to lunch and I'll meet you there. And my phone rang after 10 minutes. He goes, just bring the receipt back and I'll pay for it. I got back to his office after we figured everything out, and he was just him and his wife were sitting there in tears that they had lost like maybe 120, $140,000 because they didn't quite understand what they were doing as far as like charging one thing, but like having an overhead of something else. So in that process, tell me how you could have helped that doctor before. And so instead of being the one who lost $150,000, which by the way, we got him to make that money back over time. Over the course of the year, he's able to get that most of that money back and then has made money ever since. But tell me how TrackStat can go ahead and help that doctor who doesn't quite understand the difference between cost to deliver versus cost to collect, or cost to deliver versus collections.
well, for us, really pretty easy. Like we show them a bunch of good patients that they thought were coming in that are not coming in. And then they're like, we'll have people reactivate like 30, 40, 50. I've had someone reactivate as many as like 60 something patients in a 2 week free trial. Like he was just like tickled pink. He's like, this is amazing. It's like, I haven't paid this guy a penny and I got 63 patients back on the schedule. Sent me this email, stuff like that. I actually took a screenshot of it and put it on our website because like it was like pretty cool because like he got all this value from a free trial and he was like, okay, well, it's kind of like a no-brainer. So for us, like we focus on like increasing office visits, identifying people that pay more per visit, and focusing on getting them back in. Obviously, like, yes, we want to serve everyone, you want to help everyone, but like it's a business and you have to make money. Like I took care of, like pastors and stuff like that. And I wasn't brought up like Catholic or Christian, but I was told like my manager, like, and we gave him care for like free. I just said I'm hedging my bets, right? So it's like, my mom's Buddhist, there's Jewish people in my family, there's Catholic people in my family, and then we got kind of brought up more, we'll call it spiritual. I believe in God, but like that's kind of like how we got brought up. And yeah, I just told her, it's like, what are we doing? It's like, I'm just hedging my bets. It's like, I just want a condo with a view. And they're good people. They didn't ask for a discount. And like, it's not like they're from this like mega church where they make a ton of money. It was just like you see them drive up in like a really old dumpy car and stuff like that, and they really needed the care. And so if you run a more profitable business, it allows you to give it away to people that really need it.
Absolutely. It does help you make that decision a lot easier. It also knowing that, and I'm going to say this because if you're a client of ours and you've watched this before, then we've had this conversation. It also allows you to know where if you want to go ahead and make care affordable by using either our discount program or by using a hardship, allows you to know exactly where that line is between cost to actually deliver the service versus actually doing it at cost. I've had people before just I've told them, I said, it's better off that you give people $5 to come in and see you versus what you've been doing, which is losing $15 a visit on these visits. So, that happens as well. So let me ask you this. So what would you say would be the number one reason that someone goes through the initial like free trial and then says, click, it works? What's that? What do you think that?
Patient retention, most of the people believe it. We'll get referrals from consultants. So like we'll have like maybe 20% of our people come to us for like stats analytics. They just like they get frustrated trying to get the numbers. And then the majority of people are coming to us just for like just easy patient retention. So like we just help people see more people easily. And maybe, hey, you don't want to see more people. Well, let's focus on increasing your dollar per visit average, right? And I'm a big proponent of what is measured grows. And if you don't measure that number, it's never going to grow. And that's something that we always focused on. We've always focused on what are we collecting per visit? How many visits are we having? How many visits do we have scheduled out over the next 30 days? Which is probably one of the best numbers for retention. Like they got all these other stats out there, but just take a look at what you have scheduled out over the next 30 days, and providers will start figuring it out. And especially if you incentivize them on it.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. I'm gonna say this of our new clients, I bet you 55, 60% of them have no idea what their cost to deliver the services.
Yep, I believe it. A lot of people, they just fly by the seat of their pants.
And I made $10 last month. Woohoo!
Yeah.
It's amazing because I mean, you got to understand. I mean, if you have that kind of data, like the data is important, and I know data sounds like this nebulous thing, but understanding the data that TrackStat's able to pull out of your system allows you to make decisions that aren't seat of the pants stuff.
Or
Right.
just like
The moves you're
dealing
making.
with ASHIT, like Ash. But like I was like I remember I did a call, like just a trial call with one of the people after we did a demo. So like we'll do a demo and then they do a trial and we just give them a walkthrough on how to do it. And then we just like, she's debating, do I keep Ash or not? And she was a dual, did acupuncture and chiro, and her mom worked for her. And like I ran all the numbers and put it, we'll have a customer report builder so you can build a customer report that generates automatically. And they just got really quiet. And she's like, and then the mom just said, I think I'm gonna get sick. Like she was just disgusted at how little that they were making. And it just made the decision of not taking it so much easier.
Yeah, because it's not emotional anymore.
Yeah.
It's factual.
Yeah. Well, like, like you met Nora, like I remember she used to take Ash, we did acupuncture and we ran the numbers. And like we were worried about losing patients and we realized that she could lose 75% of her patients.
And
And if
it's
they paid our
$10 a month.
discounted cash rate, we still would have been better off. And she didn't lose 70%. She lost like maybe 30%.
Mhm.
Right. And like she made way more money and she wasn't stressing about all those like Ash like pre-authorization reports and stuff like that. That was the bane of her existence. Like going through there in between patients, it
Yeah,
times out, then you have to start over.
right.
And like it just makes practice enjoyable again.
Yeah.
And she
Allow-
wasn't
It it does allow you to make decisions without the emotion. That's important. You to make the decision factually and just be not, nothing personal, just business. That's a massive win.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I wish more people would run their stats by the numbers, like or run their business by the numbers, but like I guess I've always been like a emotional. So it's like I'm fairly agnostic. If you show me, hey, here's a better way of doing it, it's like, okay, I'll try it. Like I don't get dogmatic about this. And like I think that's why I was a good coaching client. They show me a thing. I don't think it's gonna work, but I'm gonna try it because hey, what's the worst thing that happens? Right. And it's like, here's what worked, here's what didn't work. And then they give me feedback on how I could have done it better. And I tried again. And I wasn't married to a way of doing it. And I think
Right.
sometimes people get stuck in a way, and this is the way we always did it. It's kind of like my favorite story is like you like the Aunt Millie's roast beef or whatever like that. I remember like a consultant told me this. I don't have a green Aunt Millie, but like the story is like with like a roast, right? And like the person cut off the ends of the roast and they put it in the oven, and then the all the daughters did it. And then like the grandkids and like, like one of the granddaughters, like, so like Aunt Millie, great Aunt Millie, why do we cut off the ends of the roast? Like, well, our oven was too small, so I had to cut it off to make it fit into the pan. And I think a lot of times in practice and in life, we have that thing. We keep doing something a certain way. We don't know why. We just do it. We don't question, is there a better way? Is there a more efficient way? And we just get stuck because
Yeah.
like people hate change and death is the ultimate form of change and we just fight it all the time.
Yeah, I agree with you. Even from a compliance standpoint, I try to explain to patients, my clients, I'm not married to this process. I'm married to the outcome. So there's more than one way to get to this outcome compliantly. So let's just work on getting the outcome. And that's you're 100% correct. Because by the time the great granddaughter got to the point where she was doing the roast, her oven was 3 times the size of the original one. So she didn't have to do that.
But like we do that all the time,
Yeah, all the time. So let
right?
me ask you. So how can people get a free trial of TrackStat?
They could just go to trackstat.org. Probably have a link in the email. So it's trackstat.org. They could click there, read about the software, click watch demo, and then on the thank you page, there's a spot to schedule a call. They will just do a call if it seems like it's a good fit. Do a trial. If you like the trial, then you keep it. If you don't like the trial, you don't have to keep it. And we're doing tons of stuff. And as AI keeps getting better and better, if you're not implementing that in your system, you're going to get left behind. And for us, like a big advantage of us making our system around like actionable numbers, actionable things with AI, like AI could do some crazy things. Like, I don't know if you've ever asked it a question, it gives you like a straight out wrong answer. So
Mhm.
like we have very structured data and structured workflows. So like that creates good guardrails to allow AI to do a good job. It just like, it's like my 14-year-old was using AI to check his homework. He looked at it, he's like, that's not right. And my wife looked at it, was like, it isn't right. And he asked the AI again, he's like, oh, sorry, yeah, it's a wrong answer. But like, I think the AI is always just trying to like appease you, right? If I ask AI, since I'm always playing with my AIs, ask them what's the best software, they'll say TrackStat's the best software. But like obviously someone that's using another software or anything
Right.
else, they're good. AI just
It learns.
it learns and it's always just trying to appease the user. And my AI is like appeasing me all the time.
Totally understand. Well, Nota, thanks a lot, man. I really appreciate you being on with me today and going through the stuff. And trust me, if you, I know 99% of you watching this have been on a call with either me or Dr. Allen and gone through this data and tried to figure out how to be able to make your care plans more cost effective. This is exactly where you get that data from to be able to make that work. So I think it's a smart move to go ahead and get a deeper dive in and understand exactly what your because figure out exactly what your utilization rates are, what your billing rates are, all those different things to help you understand how to not be in an audit before you're in an audit. So I think it's a good idea. So no, thanks a lot. And everyone who watches definitely take your 15, 20 minutes and invest that you invested here and make it pay off by going to trackstat.org. All right.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. Take care. See you soon.